Okay, guys, this is the last video. We're going to go over the word problems, and I know that most of you probably needed help with the word problems, so make sure that you're listening closely, and if you have any questions, then you can email me. So, number 12, a ball is thrown directly upward from an initial height of 200 feet with an initial velocity of 96 feet per second. The equation h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 96t plus 200 models the height of the ball h after t seconds. After how many seconds will the ball reach its maximum height, and what is that maximum height? So we have a lot of information here, but the most important thing that they give you is this equation right here. By far, because this is what we're going to use to help us to answer these questions, okay? So let's go through those three things that we're always supposed to do with word problems. Number 1, draw a picture. Number 2, define your variables. And number 3, label your key points. I'm going to start by defining our variables here. So we need to define what is our independent variable and what is our dependent variable. And yesterday you guys did an awesome job of knowing that if there is a unit of time in a word problem, it will be independent. So our independent variable here is going to be seconds, and it tells us to use t. So it says t is our independent variable, and it's going to represent seconds. And it also tells us to use h, and that h is going to be the height of the ball. So h is going to be our dependent variable, and that will be the height, and that's going to be measured in feet. Okay, so now we can move to drawing our picture. Remember, when we draw our picture, we always start with a coordinate plane. Let's draw our axes and let's label them. So here is my x or t axis, because it's the independent axis, and here is my y or h axis, because it's the dependent axis. And now let's think about some key things that they told us here. The ball is thrown upward from an initial height of 200 feet. We talked about this on our study guide. The words initial or beginning or starting point are always keywords for y-intercepts. So that means that this baseball, or whatever I'm throwing, is starting on the y-axis or the h-axis here, 200 feet up. Okay, 200 feet. And this is going to be the ground, obviously. 200 feet in the air. And I'm throwing it upward, and we know what comes up eventually has to stop and come back down always. Okay? And now, I know that this has to be a y-intercept because of the keywords in the problem. Let's label some other key points. Right here at its maximum height, the highest that it gets, we know that this is going to be the vertex, and we know that where it hits the t-axis or the x-axis has to be an x-intercept. And labeling these can help me to decipher what this word problem is saying. So the first part says, after how many seconds, so how many seconds, and remember, seconds is a t value, so this is asking you to find t or x, will the ball reach its maximum height? And you guys did a great job of knowing yesterday that if it talks about a max height, it's talking about the vertex. So put these two things together. Find t or x. Find t or x of the vertex. So it wants you to, this first part here, it wants you to find the x part of the vertex. And on our study guide, we talked about how to find the x part of the vertex. The x part of the vertex is also known as the AOS, or my axis of symmetry. And if I take my equation, and so let's take our equation, h of t equals negative 16 t squared plus 96t plus 200. We also talked about our notes, and a way to find the AOS is to use part of the quadratic formula. The x equals negative b over 2a. That's the fastest way to find the AOS. So let's pull out a, b, and c. A is the number in front of t squared, so it'll be negative 16. B is the number in front of t, which will be 96. And c is the constant, which will be 200. So when we plug that in, x will equal negative b, so negative times 96 over 2 times a is negative 16. And when I solve that, I get negative 96 over 2 times negative 16 is negative 32. And that is x equals negative 96 divided by negative 32 is 3. So it'll be after 3 seconds. This ball will be at its maximum height. Okay? Now, lucky for you guys, the second part of this asks you to find what that maximum height actually is. So, if I know the x part of the vertex, to find the maximum height is a dependent or a y variable, I have to find the y part of the vertex. So on the second part here, we're going to find the y part of the vertex. And to do that, all we have to do is plug in the x part. So I'm going to take the number that we found for x3, plug it in for my independent variable in my equation. So that's t here. So I'm going to have h of 3 equals negative 16, 3 squared, plus 96 times 3 plus 200. And then I would just type all that into the calculator exactly the way that you see it, using parentheses and everything. And when you do that, you should get h of 3 equals 344. And so what that means is, whoops, where is the x on this thing? What that means is that the max height of the ball is 344 feet. And that's all that it asked you to do for that problem right there, okay? Everything right there. So now, if we look at number 13, this one should be the easy one because we all talked about how the area problems were easier. So the width of a rectangle is 1 centimeter less than twice the length. The area of the rectangle is 45 square centimeters. Find the dimensions of a rectangle. If I go through and I draw my picture, I obviously have to draw a rectangle. Okay? And it talks about how the area of that rectangle is 45 square centimeters. So inside the rectangle, I know area is going to equal 45 centimeters squared. And it tells me things. It says something about the width and something about the length. So I know that I'm going to have to define my length and I'm going to define my width. But the biggest thing that we have to remember is that the area of a rectangle is the length times the width. So let's think about this. The width. So we're talking about this one. The width. Talking about the width of a rectangle is 1 centimeter less than. So 1 centimeter less than means I'm going to have something and I have to minus 1 centimeter from that. So that means minus 1. It's 1 centimeter less than twice the length. Remember, twice means times 2. So I have to do 2 times whatever we let the length be. So I'm going to take that 1 centimeter less than, that minus 1, and I'm going to minus that 1 from 2 times the length. So my width on my rectangle is going to be 2L minus 1. And now, I didn't tell me what to use for the length, so we're just going to define the length as L, okay? And now I have enough to use my area formula. It tells me in the word problem that A equals 45, so we're going to let 45 replace A. That'll equal, I said my length is just L, and I have my width defined as 2L minus 1. And then we can just start to solve this. First off, I notice that I have parentheses, so I need to distribute. I'm going to have 45 equals L times 2L will be 2L squared. And then L times negative 1 will be negative L. I know that I have to get quadratics equal to 0, and the easiest way to do that is going to be to subtract this 45 from both sides. So I'm going to have 0 equals 2L squared minus L minus 45. And the fastest way to do this is just going to be to use sheer brain power and to factor this. So we can use the box if we want to. Draw it out right here. So in the top corner I'll have my 2L squared. In the middle I'll have my negative L, and at the bottom I'll have my negative 45. So remember, I have to list factors of both 2 and 45. So my factors of 2 is a prime number, so it's 1 times 2. So that means the only way I can make 2L squared is to do 2L times 1L. It's it because it's prime. And my factors of 45 are 1 times, 1 times 45, 3 times 15, and 5 times 9. And so, I've got to think about whatever I put in this spot right here has to get doubled. And I'm trying to get to 1. So I'm going to look at these numbers here and think what makes sense to double so that it gets it really, really, really close to its partner. And in my opinion, it makes sense to double 5, because when I double 5, that's really close. Double 5 is 10, and 10 is really close to 1. So that's one I'm going to try first. So I'm going to put 5 in this spot right here, and that means its partner 9 has to go up here. So 1L times 9 is 9L. 2L times 5 is 10L. And in order to make 10L and 9L make negative 1, I need the 10 to be negative and the 9 to be positive, which means the plus goes between the 2L and the 9, and the minus goes between the 1L and the 5. So now, these are my factors. I still have to keep it in my equation. I have 0 equals. The first of my factors are 2L minus 9. 2L plus 9, I'm sorry. And my second factor is L minus 5. Then we use the zero product property, which states that 2L plus 9 can equal 0, and L minus 5 can equal 0, and we just solve these. So to get L by itself in the first one, I have to start by subtracting 9 from both sides. So 2L is going to equal 0 minus 9 is negative 9. And when we divide both sides by 2, I get that L equals negative 9 divided by 2 is negative 4.5. And on the other side, to solve this, I have to move this negative 5 by adding 5 to both sides, which means that L will equal positive 5. And now we have to think about this critically and think about how this is a rectangle and I'm talking about length and width. So I can't have a negative length of a rectangle. So I have to choose L equals 5. So in my final answer, I know that I'm going to say the length, because I defined the length as L. The length is 5 and my unit is centimeters. And now to find the width, I just take the 5 and plug it into my width formula. So I'll have 2 times 5 minus 1. Well, 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. So the width of this rectangle will be 9 centimeters. And that is it. You have finished the review.